tap into the vision that I've got for this. Well, up to about 5 minutes ago, I was feeling pretty pleased with myself. I've got this far through life without killing myself, you know. Sure, this isn't going to do it.
Hi, I'm Daz and she's B. We've had our motorhome since June last year and have already had many adventures and made plenty of maverick mistakes on our travels.
Our dreams of owning a home in France were shattered after Brexit. Then we failed to move somewhere more rural after our house sale fell through in the UK.
We bought Stampy, our 10-year-old motorhome, in the hope that we can live a life less ordinary and explore the UK and Europe with our kids and our greyhound Sammy whenever we can.
Please join us as we try new things, make memories as we escape in the motorhome.
Ah, there you are. Following my recent install of the solar panels and a rather rough and bumpy trip to Dorset, I'm feeling pretty confident, since the panels didn't fall off, that I should move on to the next big project. And I'm talking upgrades to our entertainment system in the front. Now, if you've seen a previous video, you would have seen I hoarded loads of old car stereos, and I've been selling through them and trying to raise money from different things. And I got up to about 150 or 170 pounds. This one also, this Kenwood one, will go when I upgrade. And then in the last video you would have seen I bought I say myself, I think it's a kind of a joint thing really, a 7-inch touchscreen stereo, which also has a reverse camera that came with it. And I've also opted for a steering wheel controller, so I can control the volume and skip songs and stuff, even though they're fairly close. I don't really want to take my eyes off the road. So with all that confidence inside my head, I want to get on with this. As a visionary, not necessarily a motorhome visionary, I need to do something to help you tap into the vision that I've got for this before you switch off. So because Phoenix has taken control of my computer, I've done a sketch, an artist's impression. It basically would have been the same, Photoshop or my drawing. They're almost the same. So take a look at this. Here's what we have currently. We've got a little empty box thing on top and a standard single DIN stereo. Now wait for it. Kapow! Yes! Check this out. So we're gonna have a great big screen, touch screen. It's got a mic, it's got some cool apps somewhere like here. One big thing for me is to stop using my phone as a sat nav, so it will definitely have a sat nav going on here, which will be the Google one, I imagine, so constantly updated and free as long as you've got a data signal, although we are trying to use road laws a little bit more. And then because we have an Amazon Music subscription, we're going to have some really cool music kicking out through this. Obviously, for the cool music to happen, there's going to need to be an upgrade to these standard speakers here. There it is. I'll quickly run through the equipment and then I'll start dismantling the stereo. So to start off with, the big one, the main head unit. It's a double DIN unit. It's the ATOTO brand. It's not one I'm very familiar with, but if you check out their store on Amazon, they've got hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews of 4 stars and above out of 5. So I've gone for the ATOTO head unit, camera and Bluetooth connector, just to stay on brand, just so there's no compatibility issues between manufacturers. This is essentially like a smartphone or a smart tablet. It has a typical Android operating system, so if you're familiar with that, this will be second nature to you. This costs at the moment about £199, so right on budget for me. But if you also look at the moment, there's a £10 off button you can click to get a discount, and they seem to run discounts fairly often, so it might be worth holding off if there's not one there when you're going to check it. Bluetooth connector, let me show you a little picture of this. Oh, it comes off, it's magnetised, that's quite good. Or you can walk around motorhome with it, skipping your least favourite Elton John track. So there we go, this costs £26. Again, there's hundreds of reviews for it. Can never pack it away, can you? Quite like how it arrives. I've just squashed that into that little box. And last of all, we've got this reverse cam. Now it's a great big box, but it's essentially cabling, because there's about 8 meters. With a 7-meter van, I'm going to need every meter. And then inside here is the really little dinky camera. So this on its own is about £45, but I think well worth the money compared to reversing into somebody. The last time I did this was in a VW T5. The wires gave me a panic attack, so I had to take it to a garage and get it looked at and fixed. This time round, like I said, after a successful solar install, I'm feeling a little bit more confident. That was a number of years ago, so maybe they've made it easier. And certainly when I was testing out the old stereos, I could interchange them here quite easily, so I'm hoping this will be a similar affair. But there's only one way to find out. If you're interested in buying a Fiat Ducato little letterbox thing, put it in the comments below. I'm not shy around electrics, I'm probably a bit dumb around electrics, so I may or may not. I should probably go and disconnect the battery, shouldn't I? I've got this far through life without killing myself, you know. I'm sure this isn't going to do it. I should just add a disclaimer before you see me doing anything as reckless as using a Swiss Army knife to pull out electrics. This is not a how-to or a guide, this is watch an idiot put a stereo in. If you glean anything from it, great, but don't copy me. Okay, that's the disclaimer over with. You can't see me now.
Working with electricity can be dangerous and potentially life-threatening if proper precautions are not taken. It is essential to understand the risks involved and have those necessary knowledge, skills and equipment before attempting any electrical work. It is strongly recommended that all electrical work be performed by a qualified...
You can read the rest of it yourself. Small problem, we've got, these are moulded fixings. They're moulded to this, which is all part of this. So I'm going to measure it up, but I think I'm going to have to be a bit brave and just chop this fella out, along with its cousin over here.
So I've had to take a small pause installing this stereo because the thing doesn't actually fit the hole. It's a long way off, and that's not the stereo's fault. That's a Fiat Ducato fault. As you can see, the gap around the edge is huge compared to the double-din stereo. So I've got a new fascia coming, and that should be here in a couple of days, or by magic. Et voila.
Okay, so it took a couple of days, but it came from these guys who offered a great service and it was really well packed.
Now that's going to go in there beautifully. I just got to chop these little fellas out. So I was just wondering what the plug was doing in the front of the van. And now I realise it's so you can plug one of these babies in and cut big holes in your dashboard. Okay, I'm at another point of no return. So I feel like I need your support. So in a kind of 1980s Yuri Geller way, I wanted to send your energy through the camera. Let's do it. So as I take the unit back out again for about the billionth time, so you can see I've used the brackets, I've turned them 90 degrees. This is an idea that a guy called the Drafty Shed showed on one of his videos in his Ducati. There's just a little bit too much movement, so I've got to secure it somehow. So here's what I'm thinking. I put a screw in low enough down here that the stereo won't hit it, and there's nothing on the other side for it to bump into, and then that is going to stop a lot of the movement that this one is doing. But there's my side supports, and it's the same on the other side, and it's not rocking like it was before. Tiny bit unhappy. This side is slightly higher than that side, but that's the OCD in me. So that's all I'm going to really fit in today. Next thing I've got to do is reversing camera and Wi-Fi antenna, and as the sun goes down over there, I'm about to lose all my light. So I've spent all day saving myself the hassle of having to buy a new cage, and instead I've managed to customise the one that came with the ATOTO. So once I figured out how to get the camera from here down to the bag and everything else is all plugged in, I'll put all of this back together and it will look like it's always been there. Okay. Right, good morning everybody. So yesterday
I took this unit in and out, only about 400 times before I finally managed to find the configuration that would keep it nice and still. We've still got the top off and the sides off, and actually to put the top back on I've got to take the whole thing back out again because of 2 screws. Jobs for today, I'm going to try and find a route for the reverse camera I've got here, and we've got the mic here for the Bluetooth telephone stuff. So this is my next job, I think, because I believe you can take this top glove box out and we can run the cable up through this and then tuck it under until it comes out here. So I haven't taken about half an hour trying to get this wire to come out in the right place. All it took was getting my 6-year-old out to help me. There we go. Now this is a grommet that was already in the hole that I've decided to wire the cables through. So I've just made a slit big enough to get everything through, and this grommet should just go back on this hole. There, take a look over here. Using the old coat hanger method again, we're going to come up through here into the back of the vent, then under and behind the top glove box over to the unit. Okay, well I think the front's all done, but before I cover it up, there's my neighbour, and I'm talking to myself again. Don't think I'm mad. And now, that's how much cable I've got left to get right down to the back. Let me show you underneath. So, I spotted, hopefully the light will, I spotted this hole up here which didn't have a cover, and we've managed to thread it through there, but it makes it easier to see it coming through if you take this cover off here, which just pulls off. Then I'm going to attach it along, much like this lighting cable for the orange side lights, along the side of the van, and then I'm going to go under the chassis and kind of follow that route down towards the back. So here we are. Well, here I am. You're not here. It's just me. I've been struggling for the last few days to get the reverse camera to work. Now I've managed to route it all the way through to the back. We've got our reverse wires very professionally put together there. Great thing about this system is it does have a reverse camera live mode, so you don't always have to be in reverse, because obviously for me to check this I'd have to start the engine, put it in reverse, and then go around the back and fiddle with wires to see what's wrong, but I obviously can't if it's in gear. But I keep getting this. No video signal detected. And although I was using the red positive wire that ran into the back of the aerial, which was labelled 12 volt, turns out with my multimeter there was no power. I've been planning to test if I can hold this steady enough. There's another power lead coming out the wiring loom, which I have tested and is 12 volt. There's so many wires here. Unfortunately I've got the light edition of the Fiat DUCATO, so all these wires for all the extra accessories and steering controls are near useless in my van. And there we have it, of course. So now I've just got to splice this into a power lead and tidy up. Now for those techies out there, don't crucify me for this, but this seems to be a power lead that's carrying a 12 volt. And I want to pick that up for the reverse camera here. And if I get it wrong, I'll just splice these two back together. Wish I bought wire strippers years ago. So on the advice of someone much smarter than me, and let's face it, there's plenty of them, I'm now going to solder the 3 wires together rather than use a crimp. So I was thinking about saying watch and learn, but this could be a case of watch and burn. I do have this spare USB cable which comes out the back. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to need another USB cable. What I think is I'll run it behind, drill a hole in the back of this pocket, and it can live inside that top slot so we can charge phones out of sight. So there's my top glove box trim with the little hole I've made, and that's going to go through there so we can charge stuff. Right, time to put it all back together. Well, like most of my DIY projects, I've just fitted the front, and of course I'm left with 3 screws and I don't know where they go. So now I've got the cable tied from the front to the back, and then I'm onto the fun stuff, messing around with the steering wheel controls. Smoke it. Well, up to about 5 minutes ago, I was feeling pretty pleased with myself. Unfortunately, as ever, I've put all the trim back, and out of all of that, I've gained 5 things, funny enough. 2 new cuts and 3 screws, as you would have seen. And I was about to get onto the exciting bit of this, which looks amazing actually in terms of controls. Each button does 1 or 2 functions, plus there's a volume control, which is the spinning outside. Pretty cool, huh? And I opened the little jewel box, and out pops this lead, and I'm thinking, is that like a charger or something? Open the manual, and this is supposed to be plugged into the back of the stereo. So I've now got to remove half of the dashboard trim again to be able to try and plug this in. I'm going to try and just take off the fans on one side and fiddle around and put it in, but if I drop it, I'm in some big trouble because retrieving it would be nearly impossible. Cue time lapse. Well, that was interesting. I ripped off the 2 fans either side, and reaching around both sides with my fingers, I was able to find the hole and locate the pin. And if we've got a connection, brilliant. That's the bit I want. It comes with a spare battery and a sticker. I think that's because if you don't want to use the strap, then you can use the sticker and you can mount it wherever's convenient on your dashboard. I'm going to try out the steering wheel strap. Oh, dang it, I've lost my control. That just fell into the pocket of my car, and I've noticed this funny colouring, of course, is because it's glow in the dark. How cool is that? Feels pretty secure. Put that on there. But it's already reacting with a beep. And let's try the volume. Nice. Volume down. Can't play any music anyway because I'll get done for copyright. Hey Google, show me a picture of a motorhome.
Just so that you know, pictures can't be shown when you're using Android Auto.
We've got our steering control in with a volume dial and our hands-free connection. This should, if I press and hold it, show me the reverse. So at the moment we've got a map over there and some music. If I press and hold this, no signal. Bonk. Okay, then some flower pots. That's great. So that's my live rear view, and if I had a front camera I can do the same for this one too. For the last and final time, I'm putting back these vents. There's one, and trying not to slice my hands up on anything. Abracadabra. Let's go to our homepage. There we go. Beautiful.
It's far enough.
Toto's the name of the dog. You ready, Sammy? You're going to be impressed by this. To test out the feel of the stereo, B and I took Phoenix and Sammy in Stampy down to Northerney, just across the bridge onto Hayling Island.
So, Sammy, who seems to be far less anxious when he's up the front, obviously he's got harnessed, he's tied around the chair, but he's much less anxious when he's up front looking out the window. Trouble is, he's got such a long schnoz. He keeps pressing buttons on the touch screen. He's covering it in snot. And I think he's giving you a little reroute as well, which is nice. Change the song again. Sammy, what's it going to be? Are you enjoying that one? Oh no, he's changed it. He's changed it to Good News. He's looking for Paw Patrol. He's looking for Florence and the Machine. Dog days are over. Sorry, I can't think of any more dog songs. Sammy, do you like this one? I like this one. He's not bothered, are you? You're not bothered by Inhaler? Oh, that's interesting. So what's that?
That's the new reverse camera. So this one is right above the registration plate, nice and low, looking directly back. And I can turn this one on as well for a live view. This one's mounted at the top of the motorhome looking down, so I can sort of hopefully stop myself reversing into people, all things.
I was going to say, this is like some sort of Marvel movie, encouraging you not to look at the road.
Funny thing about Android Autos, they seem to have gone on to the fact that people will put YouTube and iPlayer films on the front and they shouldn't be watching anything while they're driving. So they seem to refuse to show pictures and videos, except I've got 3 screens here that are quite distracting. So
Yeah, you have to be really careful, babe.
distracting enough I put the wrong in.
Oh, what a nice new gadget.
Well, I hope that was useful for somebody out there. Don't forget to check out the rest of our videos. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.